Hello everyone. Welcome back to CEO Diaries. I'm of course your host. I'm Lauren Dallas. I'm CEO and co-founder of Future Females. And as you can see, well, maybe you can't tell, but I am back in our office in Cape Town at Innovation City. For anyone tuning in, and I can see we're now live across all the channels that we should be on Facebook. Hello, on LinkedIn and YouTube. Welcome. For anyone who is tuning in from Cape Town, and please do let me know where you're joining from if you're joining now. We are hosting a breakfast on Friday in Cape Town at Innovation City. I'm very excited to be hosting it. And my co-founder, Serena, is also flying in today to host this event with me. So if you're around, it's a very informal, free connection breakfast, really just to get networking again after the past couple of years we've had. So just to start with that, hopefully some of our paths will cross. Amazing. So I'm going to get stuck in. I can see people joining, Karina and Fraliswa. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Zabrina, Charlene, amazing. Welcome. You guys know what this session is all about by this stage. This is a session to really take you behind the scenes of what a launch looks like, whether you are thinking of launching a new business, whether you have been in your business for quite some time and you're looking at how to do a promotional launch of a new product or service. I've been there. I am a serial launcher, and we've been preparing for our current launch of the new Future Females platform, as you all know, since last December. So it's coming up to now a year of building towards this single launch of our new community-based learning platform. So lots of learnings, loads of learnings around budget, staffing, timeline, promotion, some of the things I've shared in the previous weeks. Something we haven't talked a lot about though, and the topic for today is going to be engaging and retaining your customers. So before I dive in, I have an exciting announcement. Every CEO Diaries, we award a prize. And that prize goes to someone who asks a great question or shares authentically or shares an experience or a challenge or a learning from their own business journey. Because, of course, as a community, we all learn best from each other. So we have a new prize today. And that prize is something I'm particularly excited about. It is free access to our, welcome back, Lauren. Yay, thanks, Jody. It is free access to our Level Up Launch Library. This is a training that we've put together that really is a package of everything you could need to execute a successful and profitable launch. So it is an online training course. It's normally almost $200, and it covers everything from literally launch strategy. We give you our launch Trello. It covers socials, how to launch on Instagram, how to launch on LinkedIn, how to approach partners to support your launch, and also some mindset training. So that is today's prize. So I'm really excited to be giving that away. Also makes sense in the context of today's session around engaging your customers. So you're going to have to excuse my lighting. I'm sitting on top of a conference hosted by WhatsApp, which is amazing, and a lot of learnings that we'll be sharing back to our community. But this is the quietest place to be able to connect with all of you. So this is where we are. Cool. So I want to get stuck in and as always, share with you a couple of our learnings from Future Females around retention. And of course, then have capacity to answer any of the questions or struggles you might be facing. So use the chat, whichever channel you're on, it's all pulling into me in the one place, so I will be able to see it. Cool. Okay. So a lesson that I learned really on in marketing is that it's always cheaper to retain a customer than to acquire a new one. I know that's a very non-emotive way of thinking about your customers, but from a business perspective, right, when we're looking at our budgeting and our bottom line, it's absolutely the truth. And for someone like me who is so focused on growth, and as you've seen, like growing this Future Females community, because my aspiration is to be there for everyone that needs it. Often retention is something that can fall by the wayside. So since we launched our first membership platform a few years ago, it's become a lot more of a focus. And also now we have started doing a lot of B2B work. So rather than selling just to consumers, we also do a lot of work with corporate and government partners, where rolling a contract over into another year is kind of our key goal because getting those contracts is quite challenging. So I want to share from both of those perspectives, kind of building up a community and how to retain within that. And then secondly, how to approach retention when it is a B2B, a business client. Hopefully that'll cover all bases, whichever business type you're building or a hybrid. Okay, cool. So what is retention? Right? And this is different for every business. And it's something that is, you've probably defined it, but if you haven't, I would really encourage you to do so. It's obvious when you have something like a subscription model, right? Retention is someone not canceling or not churning. But in a different context, retention are those customers that are going to buy from you consistently. And what we kind of work towards is a lifetime value of a customer. So if you have someone, and it's interesting, you guys know I do a lot of Facebook and Instagram advertising training because I love it because you turn it on and it keeps running in the background. We actually realized that that is the entry product for someone who then goes on to do our business school, which was our more expensive program, or who joins our membership, which even though it was cheaper, was typically an upsell from our first. So something that I would encourage and that we have now done is essentially map what is not your ideal customer journey, but what is the real customer journey that someone goes through with you. Are they typically buying something cheaper first? Are they doing a 1-hour consultation before they commit to like your 12 months mentorship or whatever business model you're in? So a bit of a spin on retention, but just to share the two ways that we look at it. Obviously, staying a paying customer month on month, and then increasing lifetime value through upselling. Okay. I want to know first, or before I keep going, what's the biggest problem you found with retaining? And then I'm going to share a couple of our own. So what we do is, and I'm going to speak about subscription models because that's what we're building towards in this platform. So the bulk of our strategy has been focused on that. So we look at retention from a few different perspectives. One, what is the kind of cake, right? I remember I had one of my first staff members when I was in consulting, and he had the most incredible and creative ideas, but he wasn't getting his day job done. And we had this conversation. It probably came from my parents back in the day. And I was like, you need to give me the cake before you give me the icing. And I think that that's really good advice and something to pull through into your kind of customer engagement and retention strategy. Making sure that the hygiene factors, the cake, right? You're giving them the products they expect in the time they expect it. You're responding to incoming inquiries in a timely enough fashion, right? There's nothing to turn someone off. Then you layer on the cake, which is the second pillar of our retention strategy. So there's kind of the standard delivery, and then there's what we call the surprise and delight. This is the fun part. What can you do that goes above and beyond what your customer expects? And the benefit of this is not only are you engaging them, but you're building an opportunity for virality, meaning they're more likely to go and tell someone like, oh my gosh, did you know that Future Females like hosted this brunch on top of Table Mountain, which is something that we really want to do. And I got a free ticket to attend. Like that is noteworthy. And it ends up turning your customers into your advocates because you've given them something to say. But if you don't deliver on pillar one, the hygiene factors, then they're going to say something negative, right? So that's why we look at it in those two aspects. The third pillar when it comes to retention strategy that we've been spending quite a lot of time on recently is re-engagement and activation. So essentially, if you're thinking about a customer who is about to churn, and if we look at a membership site, for example, what are the indicators that they're likely to cancel before they actually do? For example, let's say you're paying a subscription to a platform and you haven't logged into it for a month, and then your next payment comes off. That's typically the point where you go, oh, I remember that I'm paying that and I'm not using it, so then I'm going to go and cancel, right? And it'll be a different point for you, but just brainstorming like, what is a predictor of churn? And at that point, proactively re-engaging. So for example, like, let's say I know that you haven't logged in and your payment is coming up in 3 days. I'm going to reach out to you. I'm going to be like, Caitlin, hey, what is the biggest problem in your business and how can we help you? Have you checked out this course? Did you know we have this forum where you can ask for help? Like, what is it? And I always say, when a lot of humans, when we're struggling, we kind of pull away and we retreat. So just helping someone and pulling them back in to receive the value they signed up for initially. So again, that will look different to everyone. There's more obvious things under this third pillar too, right? Like when someone actually hits cancel and then you get an email and you're like, hey, would you stay if we made it half price? Or we want to give you a free month because you haven't looked at all these things and we think it could help. Or hey, why don't we jump onto a call and see if there's a better option? I think sometimes when a customer churns, it's easy to take it personally. And I don't know if you guys do this at all, but I remember my very first membership years ago. And I used to get the cancellation notifications in my email, and every single one, no matter if I was out at the party of the lifetime, I would get this notification and my entire mood would change. And I wouldn't have necessarily the open mind to engage that person and understand why. I would be, and it was, I think, bruising to my ego. I would just shut down. I'd be like, okay, fine, but actually I'm dying inside. And yes, you guys know, like I do, this is resilience that comes over time, and that it kind of hurts anyway. But that's actually the opportunity to re-engage. That's the best time. We always say, at the moment we're conducting retention calls with our biggest clients and asking them improvement opportunities. And when they say there's nothing to improve on, we're like, I don't know if they're going to stay with us. Because people who want to keep working with you, they want to work through the challenges, right? And someone who's already made up their mind, unless you genuinely have no improvement areas. But if someone's like, I'm not going to invest energy in working through challenges or barriers because I know that we're not going to stick around. So it's quite interesting then to probe and really try and create more value together, which is the same in kind of the cancellation scenario. Okay, that was quite a lot. I'm just very passionate about retention strategy. So I kind of touched on like the base delivery. What is the status quo that your customer expects? If you don't know this, then do a survey. We love surveys at Future Females, but we, for example, this morning, we're having a meeting about creating a conference or an unconference or an unconvention in 2023. And we were like, what is unconvention? Like, what is it that everyone hates about conventions and conferences? And how can we flip that on its head? And we're just going to ask. So please respond to that survey. But I think do the same, right? The other thing that helps you do is not creating offers that impact your bottom line and don't serve your customers. For example, some of you would know Zappos. It's an American online shoe store. They're an amazing story of growth and an MVP. But what they offered was 365-day returns. They may have even done unlimited returns at a point. This cost them a lot of money because imagine getting shoes that have been worn for a year sent back. You can't resell them. They also did free returns. But then they realized actually that's not why people are buying. So they've offered this thing that's costing them a lot of money and it's not increasing sales or conversions. So it's really important, and what we do a lot is just literally ask to get that feedback so we're not just guessing. What I think is cool, what I think is the surprise and delight is not necessarily like attractive to you guys. I mean, my latest idea is driving around with a t-shirt gun in the back of a pink Jeep and shooting Future Females t-shirts out at groups of women. But it's fun, but it's not really going to drive retention. But in all seriousness, let me jump into some of these questions and see how I can support. So Sammy, your biggest challenge is a lot of excitement after a demo and using our platform a lot and then slowly signing in less often. And then let me just pop this one up too. Firstly, thank you so much for sharing. I also struggle a lot with getting feedback after a member has churned. Okay, great. These are really, really good pain points that I've experienced too. Sammy, will you let me know in the chat if your platform, and I'll just put this one back up, is paid or if it's free usage or if it's a free trial? Where to start with this? So a couple of thoughts. Firstly, I'm not sure exactly on your business model, but something we've been spending a lot of time on is our free trials. So in 2023, we'll offer a few day free trials. People can see the entire platform and experiment with it. Okay, so it's paid with a free trial. Cool. And then one more question. Are you taking payment information at the start or are you trying to convert people at the end of the free trial? I was consulting to a tech company in Australia and we were doing a free trial with limited feature access. And we were getting a lot of people not converting after their trial. And what we realized is actually when you have a convert at the end of the free trial, okay, cool. So this is just from my experience, but we were getting a lot of people dropping off in their free trial. So what we did is we implemented a person, which later was replaced with technology, to essentially handhold people through the onboarding. Because someone needs to achieve the outcome that they sign up for in the free trial period. Otherwise, they're not receiving the value. So you need to deliver the value first, and then they'll give you payment information, which is why a free trial where you don't collect credit card at the start is more challenging, but obviously less friction at the start. But that's what we found. So what we did, and I was just talking about identifying predictive indicators of churn, which you can also do right at the start. So identifying what needs to happen for someone to retain. I'll give you an example. When I was working at eBay, I was doing a retention strategy for buyers. And we realized that if someone purchases twice in their first month, then they will keep purchasing at roughly one product per month after that for as long as they stay on. If they don't buy in their first month, then they're unlikely to buy again in like the next 6 months. So when we identified that, we were able to like proactively offer things to make those interactions happen. For example, like just an onboarding sequence or a discount offer or a bestsellers recommendation, something so that those transactions could be facilitated. So for you, Sammy, I'm not sure what it is exactly, but what should be in your onboarding to make sure the value is received. If I share for our new platform, and I was just mapping out going through our new onboarding yesterday, well, like, firstly, you need to have access to the platform. I'm sure that one goes without saying, but sometimes you don't with a free trial. And if not, there'll be a personal WhatsApp, one of our coaches reaching out and saying, hey, do you need help with your access? The second thing is we need you to set up your profile. Sorry, not set up your profile. We need you to do your introduction into our founding member group, because then you've also committed and then you'll get a connection. Everyone that posts into our founding member group, at least me and my team, is going to respond to and ask questions about you. And that's what it's all about, right? Building your network. So we need you to post so you can get a connection. If you don't post, there's no way we can deliver the connection value to you. And then the third thing that we need you to do is to sign up to a course. So starting a course. And if someone doesn't click start, then we'll just pop it up when they log into the platform. Be like, hey, you haven't started a course yet. Why don't you try one of these? And obviously prompt by email too. So that's just my example. And I'm not sure exactly what your platform is, but let me know if this is helpful. And every business has these touch points, you know. If I think about broadening this to people who don't have a free trial, think about how many people join your email list and don't buy from you. And sure, we're always going to have people on our email list that we've worked hard to get on there, right? We've offered something, we've nailed our social content. There's always going to be a proportion, probably a relatively high proportion, that don't buy. But the thing that I see a lot of female founders specifically doing is actually not trying to sell. If someone has just joined your list, that's the that's the time where they are the warmest and the most likely to actually convert. But often we're like, they're on my list, amazing, I don't want to spam them. But actually, you're losing the relationship. So what we typically do, and when I coach email marketing, which I also love, we always say, have a sequence of 6 to 8 emails minimum. No one should be like written off in terms of your marketing unless they've heard from you 8 times. Actually, the rule of thumb is someone needs to have interacted with you 7 times to know, like, and trust you enough to buy from you. So I coach 8 because let's be safe. Let's do 1 more because we can. So make sure that these free trialers or your free leads or whatever your free community is for your business has heard from you. And not only heard from you saying hi, but like knows exactly the product you have to offer. And also, when I go to a lot of social media accounts for female entrepreneurs, I'm like, you're creating amazing content, and it's inspiring and it's great to get to know you, but like, what are you selling? I actually don't know what it is that you are selling. So we need to try to sell. It sounds so silly saying that, but I know that I've maybe kind of left it out before because the marketing and the story is easier. Or running a webinar, for example. And at the end, I'm like, the sales were okay. I don't want to, and the people that didn't buy, they didn't buy. And I don't necessarily like feel like sending 8 more emails. But when I do, that's like properly seeing the launch all the way through to the end, to put it in the context of launching. Okay. It was a long answer, Sammy, but I'm glad it was helpful. I'm going to pop up Karina's question too. How do you make that offer without looking desperate, but rather making the client feel valued? Okay, cool. You commented this a while ago, so I'm not exactly sure which part I was talking through. So please do build on this, Karina, if you can. But I'll speak to it from a couple of perspectives. Cool. I think firstly, when it comes to selling, the most important thing is mindset. And I'm actually thinking about our course in our new Future Females platform, which is developed with a lady called Arlene Mulder. If you don't know her, she is incredible. She's been on the cover of Forbes. She's built a multi-million-dollar not-for-profit that gives back and 2 more tech businesses. She got $4 million of funding in a single conversation from a corporate. Like, this is her jam. And so the course we made with her is on how to approach partners and how to sell. And of course, we go into the specifics, how to objection handle, how to negotiate, what your pitch deck should look like. But she also just said at the end of the day, it boils down to being really confident in your offer. Because if you have complete confidence, that will come across in your sale. And Karina, how I like to think about it when I'm selling is like, it's not a hard sell, it's an invitation. I'm like, if you would like to join the Future Females platform, please do. If you don't want to, if you don't feel like it's for you, after I've, of course, taken the time to like really communicate what's in it, and not kind of gloss over it. We've gone through every inclusion, every benefit, and you're saying like, can't help me. Cool. That's fine. So I like to take that mindset in because then there's no pressure on either side. And I'm just reading your next comment. And I'm sure like whatever, if you're not confident in your product or service for that client, then it's also okay to say from your side, like, this isn't going to work and go on to the next opportunity. And it's not saying no, that's rechanneling your energy into something that can be more productive for you too. Karina, when someone looks like they have lost interest and are going to leave, giving the offer then. Okay, cool. Let's talk about that. I'm going to try and think of an example. Okay, cool. So I think we were talking in the context of business to business, right? When you have kind of a contract or maybe a retainer, and you can just sense that they're looking in another direction, right? And I haven't had this recently, but I have definitely when I was running my consulting and advisory kind of freelance gig. So you can sense it. And that's the time, I think, to just have a really open conversation. And obviously, it depends on your relationship with that person. But I just like to say, are you thinking of going elsewhere? And just actually touch base on what could we improve on? Have we achieved the outcomes that you were seeking from us? Have your priorities shifted? And essentially, and what we try to do with our partners is co-plan for the next proposal or the next year or retainer period. Yeah. I'm trying to think about how else to support you, because sometimes people are just going to leave if they're not getting the results. But if they are, the other thing to consider, and I've had this situation, is like if they're not the decision maker. And so you might be sharing weekly in your updates with someone who is, got you on board and is passionate about working with you, but actually it's not feeding all the way up to the person who's making the decisions. Something that we've really learned, and we obviously deliver a lot of programs, but the reality is none of our partners know how well a coaching session went. They don't know how many people necessarily showed up for the coaching session. They don't know that lesson 4 in module 2 is really good. And we do this in corporate as well as women, right? We think the work will speak for itself. The work doesn't speak for itself. So if you're working with a big corporate or a government body, I would make sure that you are spending enough time on PR around the impact of your program, celebrating case studies of the people that you've impacted together, building brand awareness. We, for example, do research that we publish, because even though it doesn't move the needle necessarily like our programs do, it is really good for credibility in the market for us and our partner. So I think and then the other thing that we do is when we're coming towards the end of a big project, we will do a couple of things. One, we'll host a learnings workshop for all of the stakeholders. This is both where we present the wins, looking back on our partnership, we present the deliverables, and then we have an opportunity to discuss next steps. So if it is, again, someone bigger that you're working with, having that open forum where you're celebrating first and then planning together can really help. And then the second thing that we do is create typically a video, it doesn't have to be, create a video so everyone can see how amazing it was. For example, we've just finished a project with Andy, which is an accelerator community, and we supported women get access to funding. So many of these women actually got funding. Someone got $5 million, I'm converting from ZAR, so roughly 5 million USD, which is incredible for an early stage tech business, particularly based where she is in South Africa. So we're going to be creating this video that literally showcases her story, walks around where she is in rural South Africa as a solar panel company, shows the product, because that funding comes from Canada. Canada has no idea what we're doing on the ground here, but a 1-minute hype reel where you can see and feel that impact is really good for continuing that relationship and hopefully continuing on with a project or securing another one. So yeah, obviously I'm a marketer, but my advice would just be don't ignore the promotion of the project that you're doing, as well as delivering kind of the committed outcomes. Obviously, there's a lot of scenarios that we're covering here, and I'm speaking mostly about working with really large partners rather than kind of one-to-one retainers. But obviously, that's my experience at the moment. Okay, cool. Cindy, let me pop up your comment. Another thing I've heard about selling your course is you need to have the mindset of you're helping this person. If you have that mindset, it makes it easier. Absolutely. We use a term when we're designing courses or even mentorship programs or even going into a one-on-one. What is your transformation promise? Meaning you know that this person is here. What is it that you can promise to help them move towards? For example, in my Facebook ad program, like, can I get you 5 new leads? Can I get you 50 new leads? Can I get you a profitable business? Like, what is it that you can really hang your hat on? And thinking in terms of transformation as well, like you said, Cindy, it's about like really helping someone move from stuck into like affluent or abundant or whatever it is they're working towards. So I love that. Rather than being like a sales pitch or a value proposition, your transformation promise. Natia, am I from South Africa? I am not. I am English, Welsh, Australian, New Zealander, and I live in Joburg, and I'm sitting in Cape Town. So a little bit of a blended accent going on here. Guys, please do let me know if you have any other questions. I can't believe how quickly this time has already been going for today's session. Obviously, it's actually a massive topic that we could break into several different sections. But I'm glad. And just to recap, because I see some new people, we talked a little bit about how to design your retention strategy. And I think it's a good time of year to be speaking about that too, looking into 2023. And we spoke about kind of what is your cake? What are the hygiene factors that all your customers expect, like receiving their product? Basically, customer service, whatever else it is, a standard level of quality. We talked about surprise and delight. And then we also talked about reactivation, understanding what is predicting a customer to churn, and then being able to engage them before they do, really authentically, right? And personally, ideally. Jody, you know, it'd be nice to watch sessions without interruptions on your side. Jody, I can't help you with that. If it's the husband, tell him politely. No, I kid. Well, you've seen my CEO diaries previously. I'm very used to interruptions from fiance, puppies, team, the summit that's happening on the floor below me. So this is the world we live in, and it's all good. We still show up. Okay, cool. So, it's Charlie, amazing. I am going to award the person who has won our very new prize for CEO Diaries. A quick reminder, every session we do a giveaway, and today our giveaway is free access to our Level Up Launch Library. This is a training that essentially is a bunch of different mini trainings, everything you need to work towards a successful launch, whether it's a new business or a promotion. There is launch with Instagram, launch on LinkedIn, our launch Trello board that you can just copy and paste for yourself, which I love. There's sales and partnerships training, mindset training, and it touches on leadership, which is also the topic for CEO Diaries next week. So, now there's all these questions coming through. So that is going to be the prize I'm going to award after 2 more questions. Sammy, in terms of scalability, personalized retention can be difficult. Do you have any tools, tech, or automations you would recommend? 100%. So I love the phrase, like, do what doesn't scale while you can. So if you are in the early stages of your business, then even if it's not your long-term approach, go as personal as you can. This fits for me in the surprise and delight category. I don't know if you've ever joined a free Facebook group and then the moderator of the group sends you, like, a group with thousands of people in it, and the moderator sends you a direct message. I love when people do that because so often they don't. So what can you do that people don't? For example, I'm training people in our office, our new team members, to be on our WhatsApp support. Because when we open the platform, we're going to WhatsApp you guys. I'm going to say, here's the link. But if you need anything, whether you sign up or don't, like, you can reply to us and we're going to help. We want to open that line of communication because where else can you have someone on the other side of your WhatsApp ready and willing to give you business support? So that's something that it won't scale when we have 10,000 members in this platform, but we don't yet. So we're going to start there. And the benefit also is every day we'll know what your challenges are. It will inform content. It will inform automations like self-service FAQs or like building a WhatsApp support bot which is also going to be one of the trainings in our platform. Very excited to share that one. So I think what the personalized retention does is give you the strategy to automate. Otherwise, what if you build a bot and like no one's asking the questions you spent so long working the automation into? After that, definitely something I would recommend is a bot. So I'm not sure what country you're in, Sammy, but a lot of countries, WhatsApp is kind of the easiest, most used go-to messaging service. So why not build a bot where literally people can get support? I mean, you guys have all used them. Facebook Messenger bots, also amazing. There's one that we love called Chat Fuel. There's a WhatsApp bot builder called Build a Bot, easy to remember. So I definitely recommend those as well. In terms of one more thing, if you have the capacity in your platform, is to automate those, automate the outreach on your churn indicators. So the example I gave before is like, if someone's coming up to subscription and they haven't logged into your platform yet that month, then instead of reaching out personally, you could just have an automated email asking them, what's wrong, or hey, did you know we have this feature, or hey, we want to offer you a discount next month, or whatever it makes sense for you. We are using SendGrid for those automations. So many exciting automative tools. And then Caitlin, in terms of tools for customer analytics, we just use Google Analytics. I see someone else using Chat Fuel. It's amazing for Facebook Messenger. So for customer analytics, Google Analytics is our go-to. For people who might not be so familiar, it's free. It's literally Google's analytics tool. You have to put a piece of code across your website and your platform, and then ideally use trackable links. And you can pull all of even your commercials, even your social media metrics, even your ad campaign analytics into this one place. So that's what we use. But we're also building our administrative dashboard is custom built, but our customer analytics, we just use Google. Cool. Great. Zelda, we do need cooperation from our clients. How would you deal with non-cooperation? Zelda, I guess I'm curious what the cooperation is, but I have so many examples of this. I think that open communication is just always the best thing that you can do, right? We need to have a long-term view in our businesses. And so if there's a client and we've had, for example, a sponsor who just wasn't right for us. It was great because they were financially contributing what we needed to deliver amazing events for our audience, but we couldn't get feedback from stakeholders. We initially pitched like, be a sponsor, but let's also create something valuable together. And that never happened. So eventually we decided let's not continue and went on to another sponsor. So I guess I would say, is the cooperation, do you just not gel in terms of your priorities or your values? Or are they being difficult for a different reason? Maybe it's budget constraints or personal life. I think the only way you can find out is communication. We've also had clients that literally don't reply to us. And whether or not this is an advised approach, we just deliver the work, deliver the report. So at least on our end, the contract has been fulfilled. And then find someone who is more cooperative. Okay, great. I'm actually going to award the prize now. The spot in our Level Up launch library, and I'm so excited to hear how you experience the materials as well, goes to Sammy, who is tuned in over on YouTube, and it's just been really nice as well to learn more about the platform you're building, hopefully give you some tips in terms of the strategy around your trial periods and your retention. So if you send us a direct message, not on YouTube, just jump onto Instagram at Future Females or Facebook. Please send us your direct message, your email address, and we'll send you access to Level Up Launch Library. If you want to also send us your website link or a link to your app, whichever it is, I would really love to check it out too. And if there's any further questions, we can keep engaging on that. So, yay! Congratulations! And to everyone else who joined, thank you. Appreciate it. I'm really excited to tell you what next week's session is. So, as you know, CEO Diaries is a regular weekly session. I go live at this time across all of the channels I'm on now, and it will be the same time next week. But I'm going to be joined by my co-founder, Serena. So Serena and I started Future Females together back in August 2017. We spent most of our years building this business, living in different countries, if not continents. So when we manage to get together physically, it is always so incredible. And so we're going to be doing a session on how to step into your leadership style. What is feminine leadership? What are some of our learnings along the way as we stepped into even the titles of CEO and COO, which didn't come naturally. So we just want to discuss that a bit with you and create an open forum as well to hear about your experiences of, I guess, personal growth into the role of CEO of your business and founder. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope you will all join me next week. And until then, have a beautiful rest of your week. Speak soon. Bye.